Assalamu alaikum everyone, and a very warm welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a really powerful passage from the Quran, Surah At-Tawbah, verses 17 to 24. These verses, they challenge us to think deeply about a question that I think we all grapple with at some point. What does it truly mean to have faith? The answer they give is just so clear and so powerful, so let's jump right in.
So, right off the bat, the passage hits us with this very direct question: who is fit to care for a house of God? But as we're going to see, this isn't just about the simple stuff, like sweeping the floors or fixing the roof. No. The text is digging way deeper. It's asking who has the spiritual legitimacy, the right to be a custodian of a sacred space and its entire community. Okay, so to answer that huge question, the passage starts by drawing a really sharp line in the sand. It first establishes who is considered incompatible with this sacred duty. And this sets up a powerful contrast that's going to run through this entire section.
The core concept here is something called shirk, which is essentially polytheism. And the text is crystal clear. Associating partners with the one God is just fundamentally at odds with the whole purpose of his house of worship. You can imagine, historically, this was a massive statement. It completely redefined custodianship, especially moving away from the pre-Islamic pagan rituals at the Kaaba.
And wow, the language in verse 17 doesn't pull any punches. It says that for those who persist in this disbelief, their good deeds, and I'm quoting here, have become worthless. So in this specific context of serving God's house, their actions are considered spiritually nullified. This sets a very, very clear premise for everything that's about to come. All right, so after defining who is excluded, the passage immediately does a 180 and describes who is included. It completely redefines this idea of custodianship. It's not about your social status. It's not about who your family is or some fancy ceremony. Nope, it's about a clear set of beliefs and, importantly, actions. And this is where that contrast just becomes so clear. Verse 17 sets the disqualifier, polytheism. But then, bam, verse 18 gives us this beautiful, positive checklist for the true custodians. It's this holistic combination, right? It's about belief in God and the last day. It's about action, establishing prayer, giving charity, and then crucially, it's about the inner state, fearing none except Allah.
And this brings us to that word maintain. It's so much deeper than it sounds. The Arabic term used here is ya'muru, and it implies way more than just physical upkeep. It's really about being a steward, about nurturing the spiritual life of the community, making the space vibrant and alive. This is really where private devotion meets public responsibility. And it is no accident that zakah, or obligatory charity, is right there on that list. The text is framing it as a core pillar, a tangible, real sign of commitment. It's kind of like the lifeblood of the community, showing that faith isn't just some internal feeling. It absolutely comes with social responsibility. But the passage, it goes even deeper. It acknowledges that someone could perform all these outward actions. They could pray, they could give charity, check all the boxes, but still miss the point entirely. So the next verses introduce a really powerful warning against insincerity. And this is some of the sharpest rhetoric you'll find. It describes those whose actions don't reflect what's in their hearts as being only like cattle. Now, this isn't just an insult. It is a stark, shocking warning against mistaking outward performance for inward faith. It's a call to be spiritually awake, not just going through the motions. And this just reveals such a powerful, reoccurring theme. Your inner state, your sincerity, is what truly defines you. The Quran consistently prioritizes what's in the heart over mere verbal claims or empty rituals. It teaches that our religious identity is defined from the inside out. Yet even with these really stern warnings, the text doesn't slam the door shut. It provides a clear path back. If a person sincerely repents and then demonstrates that repentance by establishing prayer and giving zakah, they are welcomed as brethren in religion. I mean, what a beautiful concept, right? Mercy is tied to sincere, measurable change. And this all builds to a final, powerful climax. The passage concludes with a verse that serves as the ultimate test of faith, a direct question that asks every single one of us to look into our own hearts and really examine our true loyalties. So, verse 24 presents this powerful inventory of our most profound worldly attachments. Our family, our wealth, our career, our homes, all the things that give us comfort and security. The text gathers all of these deeply human connections to set up its final, challenging question. And here it is, the test.
The verse asks directly, are all those worldly attachments more beloved to you than God, His messenger, and striving in His cause? It's like a spotlight on your true priorities. And in the historical context of the Tabuk expedition, this wasn't a theoretical question. This was a very real choice between the comfort of home and a costly, difficult sacrifice. So after laying out all these powerful definitions, these contrasts, and these tests, what is the central message we're left with? What is the practical takeaway from this incredibly deep exploration of faith? Well, I think it all comes down to this. First, true spiritual legitimacy requires both inner faith and outward action. You just can't have one without the other. Second, devotion is an active, conscious choice, not just a cultural habit you fall into. And finally, our faith is ultimately judged by what we prioritize and what we're willing to sacrifice for. Ultimately, the passage leaves us not with a simple answer, but with a profound and very personal question to reflect on. What do our own priorities, our daily choices about our time, our wealth, and our energy, what do they truly say about our deepest loyalties? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.